the cuff, huh?
Yeah. No, I'm okay.
Okay.
You going again?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
To make a long story short,
Keep us.
the
Come back
12
to the crow hymns. Okay.
the 12 tones that are possible in the European system of music, in which all our music being crow, and has now become a worldwide phenomenon, of course, is the basis of all harmony, all guitars, pianos, organs, brass instruments, all are built. Orchestras are all tuned according to the scale that Pythagoras figured out, and has brought the music of human beings into a sometimes called harmony, where the Pythagorean system allows that to happen. And that's the direction that we have gone in complexity, that universalizes and makes a real broad cultural phenomenon. Whereas other cultures of the world, indigenous cultures in particular, have built their scales out of changing pitches, shouts, unusual sounds, but most important, pitches not determined by the Pythagorean tuning. And so most places in the world, most cultures in the world, to this day, have an element of music that is non-Pythagorean. And it's almost unknown or unrealized or unrecognized. The raga of India are based on quarter tones, some people think. And so it's analyzed. If you analyze it from a Western European system, then you get into what we call quarter tones. I think, oh boy, who can sing that accurate? Mm-hmm. Well, it's a matter of the human mind is capable of tremendous inaccuracy. Now, in the crow hymns have these kinds of songs because they have this older tradition. Whereas if you go to the average powwow, and the average powwow song today is no longer connected to, it is nowadays, let me put it positively, is now connected to, the scales are connected to the Pythagorean system by and large, because of the power subliminally of the Pythagorean tuning of pitches. So you could conceivably play a guitar along with many of the powwow songs. Now, this brings what's unique about the crow, and the thing that's fascinating to me is that some people like Dale Oldhorn somewhat consciously has avoided that tuning, kept the old tuning. Other people have done it subconsciously. For example, I have this good friend, Sammy Hoops. It's also a good friend of Joe's. In fact, Joe and Sammy Hoops have been partners in the gospel for years and years. And we sat in a Crow Hymns meeting, and Sammy Hoops' mother is Dorothy, right? Yes. And Sammy learned Crow hymns from Dorothy Hoops. Now, Sammy is an accomplished guitar player and singer. He's well tuned to the European tuning system. He tunes his own guitars. He knows the Pythagorean tuning system. And so here we had a request that Sammy would sing one of his mother's songs. Or he volunteered to do it at a meeting we had. And he sang her song, and I knew ahead of time, as soon as he started singing, I knew this is one of Dorothy Hoop's songs that does not follow the Pythagorean tuning of the scale. And I was really listening to see, how's Sammy going to sing this song? Is he going to bend the scale of the song to fit the Pythagorean system? Or is he going to sing out of tune to the in-tune way of singing that particular song that his mother sang, in tune to the Indian way of singing scales? Boy, he sang right the way the Indian people sing those songs, and he sang the out of tune. He slid his voice where he needed to a little bit, and it fit right in. And I thought, wow, awesome. And that's where I got the clue that human minds lock into scales with enormous precision and remember them, especially from their mothers. We all do that. Just like we learn the voice. Our ears are capable of hearing at a much more complicated level than what our minds are aware of processing. I think our minds process that, but at a subliminal level. We're not aware of it. Like our minds do really hear multiple pitches from one tone, but we're not aware of it. Our minds know it, but they process it as one pitch, one tone, and then we hum it. And we never think that when we're humming, we're humming like 5, 6, or 8, or 10 pitches at the same time without being aware of it. That's the foundation of, because of the science of acoustics that Pythagoras understood, the acoustics of one vibrating string or one vibrating pipe. Organ pipes do the same thing, by the way. And that's where we get blend and balance and so forth in music.
How about lyrics? We were talking a little bit earlier about some of the sort of distinctive messages of these crow hymns.
Yes.
That they carry.
Yes.
What are some of the key themes, I guess, of these songs that, as you and Joe and others have recorded these over the past years?
Let's say I wrote myself some notes on that. I guess I don't need to refer to them. I think probably Batchagic is the most dominant theme of the power of God is the most dominant theme in these songs. You see that word repeated in a lot of crow hymns. The awesome power of God, that God can be trusted, that God is creator. It's often associated with the word creator. And this is seen against my own personal weakness, my vulnerability. I only can trust God. God is the only source of my, or the best source of my help, and can bail me out of this situation most powerfully. You know, I don't think that's all that different from peyote or Sundance or the concept of there being a supernatural presence that we need to access in order to live our lives. Then there's a bit of the dark side of that is the Judgment Day concept. A lot of the songs have the concept that we're going to be left behind if we're not careful. And I think I talked to you a little bit previously about how the we've got this Jesus, Jesus, Kalahu Wika, hey, hey, lay, or we have Jesus, Jesus, hey, la, hey, hey, lay, be wile la, che. There's two different crow hymns, very different crow hymns, but they all have the same lead in. And after a while I realized that's from Pass me not, O gentle Savior. Hear my humble cry, while on others thou art calling, do not pass me by. Dear Fanny Crosby, who wrote this song that has an element of paranoia about it, that Jesus is not going to have the door open anymore. That fits into that story of the virgins, the one with the lamp that burned out because she didn't get the lamp oil in time. You know, there is that concept in the New Testament. Well, this sort of is lifted up, and it's an important theme in a lot of the Crow hymns and Cheyenne hymns and Kiowa hymns as well. You know, we don't want to be left, and that's what Pass me not, O gentle Savior goes. Jesus, Savior, hear my humble cry, while on others thou art calling, do not pass me by.
Can you link that into the nomadic tradition of the crow that you were talking about that being there, a fear, that it's also in the crow sort of historical
Oh, yes. You know, it's good to talk about it too, biblically, because the people in the Old Testament were also nomadic people. And they also picked up the concern of being left behind somewhere, being abandoned. I mean, look at the story of Joseph and the patriarchs and traveling to Egypt to get food and leaving their father, or the boy that was left in the well, you know, as Joseph, Isaac and Sarah and Abraham and Lot, and leaving the Sodom and Gomorrah, barely getting away with their lives. There's all kinds of stories in like this. In the Crow history, there are all kinds of stories of being left behind, being lost. The little boy that was lost and got picked up by mountain goats over there in the Black Canyon. You guys went to Black Canyon, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they tell you the story about the cliffs of the little boy that got raised by mountain goats up there? Or was it wolves?
Mountain goats.
Mountain sheep, that's what it was, yeah.
That's right. That's why they call it was bighorn.
Yeah, that's why it's the Bighorn Canyon. That's the story there. So this concept of being abandoned by nomadic people who have to get from one place to another, their lives can depend on their self. No, I didn't say that. Their lives depend on being able to get from one place to another and leaving the place where they are, and sometimes they have to abandon someone who couldn't keep up anymore, or for whatever reason. Yep. So that's definitely part of the part of the psyche, the social. I'd say the social psychology that ancient history of nomadic people like the Plains Indian people, including the Crow. I think so.
The story to that, the one that you mentioned, they call it Flatiron.
Flatiron, that's right.
We almost got there, another 5 miles. We would have. I was going to tell them about that, where the exact place.
The other 5 miles upstream.
Yeah, yeah.
But you have to walk. Have to get out and walk.
Oh, it's in a canyon.
Oh, it's in the water?
It's right in the middle of the, Bureau has put a sign.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'd like to.
When we were up there.
I'd like